with John Helsley and Brandon Chatmon here in Stillwater, Boom Pickin' Stadium. Brandon, the end of fall camp today. Talk about the vibe around this team as they now head into more of a regimented, get ready for the season type practices.
It seems like there's a pretty good vibe. And talking to Brandon Whedon, he said, he's ready to get out there and play somebody different. Obviously, I guess the defense had a pretty good day in the scrimmage. It seemed like the offense might have struggled a little bit in talking to Coach Gundy and some of the players afterwards. So it's pretty clear that the defense, maybe they're starting to figure out the plays and things are turning their way at this point.
All right, you mentioned the scrimmage, a major scrimmage here tonight, 100 plays. Sounded like the defense got the best of things. Sounded like Mike Gundy was kind of pitching his lot with whoever. Last week, the defense did not have the best of things. Is that a good development?
Yeah, I think that is a good development. I mean, if you think about the defense coming out, and obviously most people would say that's the number one concern on this football team. I think most people feel like under Dana Holgorsen, they'll be able to score some points, but it's the defense that is the question mark. You want to see how those young players perform. Are they physical? Are they out there making plays? And it sounded like today that was the case.
All right, talked to Brandon Whedon a little bit. He talked about a little bit of frustration and not being able to move the ball, but he also talked about, hey, those defensive guys, they know all our calls, they know all our signals, so that's a factor as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a factor as well. I believe he told me Justin Jim probably said about 50% of their plays before it even started, so obviously that's a challenge. If the defense knows what's coming and you're still trying to execute it, that's going to make things a little bit difficult. But on the other hand, I mean, if you can still execute what you're trying to do and they know what's coming, that means you're doing a pretty good job. So it was a good challenge for the Cowboys, but obviously when you're going against Washington State, they're not going to know what's coming like the defense did today.
All right, there was a lot of talk about special teams work. It sounded like there was a heavy emphasis on that in this scrimmage, and some talk about a big play by Justin Gilbert, one of their exciting freshmen. Talk about his kind of development this preseason, what he might be able to bring.
Man, it sounds like Justin Gilbert might be your guy returning kicks this year. I mean, in talking to some of the players, you constantly hear them say, Parrish Cox reminds me of Parrish Cox. So he might be a guy who's a dynamic guy back there returning some kicks. And then talking to Andrew McGee, he seems excited as any fan could possibly be to see what Gilbert does back there.
All right, Brandon Chatmon, John Helsley. Mike Gundy, after the scrimmage, we talked about the defense having a big day today. He said a lot of that was just they were more physical. Mike talking about the offense struggling, the defense having a big day. Here's what he had to say.
Obviously had about a 100-play scrimmage, and defense performed very well and corrected a lot of their mistakes from our scrimmage a week ago. Had very few penalties on that side of the ball, which I was pleased with. Thought they ran well and tackled, and did not make very many plays on offense. Saw a fine line where you make a few catches down the field and convert, get on a roll, and you look really good. But we had too many balls dropped on the ground and had some mistakes and just didn't play very well on that side of the ball, which allowed the defense to make a number of plays and had a much better scrimmage than we did. But that's part of it. The good news is we're 2 weeks out from playing. We've got plenty of guys who can make plays, but we didn't perform tonight. We needed somebody to step up and show leadership on that side of the ball.
You still said we on offense, and you've kind of been playing more on the defense. But you did stand behind the offense.
Well, it's just we from whoever didn't play as well.
Take the we side.
Yeah, it was we on the defense a week ago when we couldn't stop anybody. But it was interesting watching 3 or 4 passes that were dropped. If we make those plays on that side of the ball, then it changes the game. You're probably talking 100, 150 yards in drop passes. So players need to see that, and coaches will see it and correct it and move on and get better next Tuesday.
The first couple of drives we stalled out, but just didn't get going quick, early on, and it's we can't let that happen. That's not like us, and that was. But like I said, once we settled down, pulled it together a little bit, put together a couple of good drives, and made some plays, and finally scored a couple touchdowns.
It's really a disappointment. I can come up with a bunch of reasons why things didn't look very good out there, but they're all nothing but a bunch of excuses, and we're not going to rely on excuses around here. So, the thing that's disappointing more than anything is we put a bunch of guys in position to make plays and they didn't. And it's the name of the game. If we block things up, and make the right decision at quarterback, get the ball in space, people got to make plays, and I didn't see that tonight.
We went out there and accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. We wanted to play very hard going into this last scrimmage of camp. So I mean, we still made minimal mistakes with the young guys, but we're gonna get in that film room and get everything straight.
Broderick Brown, he's a cornerback. We had some good plays from our safeties, Markel, Johnny, and Mathis Long. You know, we had pretty good amount of guys stepping up today. So.